This is thinking things. Yeah, you ain't bringing no food to the table while you counting the pork. Bitches are flying out. What? Yeah. I got no time for a bitch. I done came up from my low way from wrestling, but I was supplying the mix. You know I never run a parliament, don't know if I can let fries off of the head. I got the eye, you know I'm high, it's like high in the money space. I am a man. Yeah. You know I'm coming this shit. Yeah, but I ain't gonna stick stuff a shot, man. I don't wanna ride like a star shit. You should know Uriel's on the front. Look at I'm out of your range. Wonder what my James and Uriel, you keep us out of your brains. Like I better stop, let's stay. Yeah, just like lost, take it trip. Yeah, but you better drop like a brick. Yeah, you know you can follow with the shit. Yeah, only thing I trust is my crib. Yeah, that's why I don't fuck with your bitch. Yeah, smoke the blood with space ghost, the green light and throw that in the fire. The my shit, like my shit, that's that shit, I got the Jeep up in space again. Yeah, I'm the other day, kind of different, but I never live in all aliens. Got the Titanian, keep for Arcadians. You're never gonna be with the angels, got my James and Uriel. Taking the rail, trying to find the demons to sense again. From the past, I ain't even gonna hate a bitch. I never go on the light. If you like two things to choose from, but we think you should be born with flight. This Apollo make it grow in the night. Spit only fire all in the night. Yeah, I got a dance floor.
Just gonna hear me now. It's good, guys. Īsā
Yeah.
and Uriel. I don't know his fucking Arabic name. Sorry, guys. Let's just go with Metatron or something. Oh hell yeah.
But you better drop like a friend. Yeah, you know you can't follow with the shit. Yeah, only thing I trust is my friend. Yeah, that's why I don't fuck with your bitch. Yeah, smoke the blood with space ghost, the green light and so bad and fire. Love my shit, like I said, what's that shit? Holla man, shit, holla man, shit.
I'm not a schizophrenic, I promise y'all. I saw you, Uriel. What are we teaching the world today?
The tan stuck in it. It don't go no further than that. It don't go no more up here than that. It don't go no further than that. Let's talk about some space travel and flying around and stuff like that, aka get your life together energy. All those qualities we're gonna be able to break down. You know the moon is in Taurus right now. Moon get ready going Gemini. Smooth criminal going to Cancer. New valuations of your emotional state. What make you feel comfortable, what don't make you feel comfortable, and all that is
I don't know how to read.
Now here's the thing though. When it's up for discussion, if you unproductive, you ain't got no true goals, no intent behind your energy, then for the most part, we don't want to hear all them feelings and emotions. This is how you feel or whatever the case may be.
As low as they go.
World. If you productive
even
or
with
whatever
less
the case may
lead,
be, all kind of new
as I can read, I forgot.
Communications on how you and me, because once you in a productive energy, you helping yourself and others. You ain't even got to say nothing to me. I can sit back by, look at you as an example, and be like,
No, for
that's
real,
the right
I have issues
information and
reading.
the right way I'm supposed to think to go about this new emotion, this, pardon me, this new feeling, this new circle. There's gonna be a new beautiful feeling.
Yo.
See, if you're in the
Harvest.
energy of always trying to look for things to dislike or be disgruntled with, of course you don't find or hear what other people are talking about and know what they saying when they say it's gonna be beautiful. So only thing you see in your life is the projection energy. You trying to find something to dislike. You trying to find something to hate or whatever. So you have to reevaluate where you at spiritually so you can start having different awarenesses in the mind.
Shout out to
different
Morph,
ideas. But then a lot of times y'all don't. So that's all you see externally. And it can be something that's very good for you, but yet you found something negative about it first. You found some opposing figure about it first. You found some energy which you need to disagree with about it first. And that's not to go to say that's for everything. But if you have true wisdom and equilibrium, you know what that energy pertains to in your life and what not to participate with. So it ain't about, oh, to be a good person, I have to do this. even in front of individuals taking advantage of you, either in situations you know you get in the short end of the
music
stick.
good,
No,
guys?
I'm not
Do you
saying
like
that.
it?
I'm just saying once you get in these positions where you are the spiritual authority, then you can have better, healthy decision-making qualities when it comes into what you are experiencing. Right now, you might just be doing things based upon the filtering system. So it got you in a situation where you're willing to sacrifice morals, you're willing to sacrifice integrity, you sacrifice what actually makes sense for the circumstance of the situation, due to the fact of you don't want to get hit by esoteric
Murdering the
bullet,
dead.
or
What does that make
fit
me?
no esoteric shoe sizes. You know what I'm saying? Because when you like fitting esoteric shoe sizes and catch your esoteric bullets,
Maybe
it's something in the spiritual world that you involved
I should let them claim me
that isn't so apparent
onto their side.
around maybe larger
Maybe it's
percentage
better
scale of the people that you're around, due to the fact that you both
aimlessly
Disney and
wander
Michael Jordan may have taught us.
through the dark
So it's things that you know
forever
you're
and
getting
ever.
away with as a spirit that isn't so aware
what I
of
mean?
in the physical. Then you come around someone
maybe
who
not.
may know how
I
to
guess it's time to
express
run.
it in such a manner that they brought a little bit of that space into the physical without the biases attached to it. So that will allow a person to see an event from a distance to be like, wait, I may be getting caught on to. You know what I'm saying? This spirit got a light bulb on top of their head. They might see what angle I'm coming from or however the case. Then a person will start reflangling the situation from behind closed doors or behind the scenes internally to restructure the situation so they don't get exposed or in some way, shape, or form when a person is being manipulated or using individuals for an external crutch that internally had different purposes of why they connected with that person in the first place. So a person may connect with you with the falsity of love, they're close to you or whatever the case may be, but the external representation is what they're actually utilizing that for. So they actually don't love you, they just around you for them rims. They actually don't care about you, they just around based upon the energy and the care you give them. So a lot of times y'all don't be paying attention to that side of life and you get all rocked to sleep. Now when the moon go into Gemini, those energies is going to like slightly try to teach you these things. It's going to try to teach you to get the right information around what someone is going through internally or emotionally. And if you lack emotional intelligence, this is why you get taken advantage of. This is why you be in starting point trusting situations, outcome, realize you shouldn't be trusting like that no more. And if you don't know how to kind of compartmentalize, that energy will start to play out in other areas of your life where it could be useful, but now you may allow that energy to create a dry heart, a hardened heart. So now you're just in some type of energy trying to resist something that may not even be a spooky character in your life at the moment, that energetic forces is playing out through people, places, and things. Because a lot of times when we in a certain spiritual space, we're developing certain awarenesses with other spirits that's not even in bodies yet, trying to be born and stuff, just like how you got here. The world is broad. Animals and other spirits and stuff like that, and that's in that position. And sometimes, right, depending on what wave you're going against, because you don't know how to create your water puddle from the up and down energy, or whatever the case may be, you might have a energy where you're going against something, you don't know what you're going against, and it's just playing out through people, places, and things. And it's hard for you to put the two and two together, yet the things that social norms or what Michael Jordan or Walt Disney taught us is the only things you got to point to make an example or to justify it. Yet it's not enough for you to truly make sense out of it. So it'll be kind of like you blaming blaming yourself or blaming others, or kind of like trying to make sense out of the little aspect that you do know, which a lot of it may be true, but a lot of it is just based upon what space you in, and you're swimming against something that ain't truly your space or whatever the case, and then you're experiencing a lot of things in your life that make it seem like it's going against where you're trying to go, or things in your favor.
My son
Yet
Isaiah,
you're probably doing things the right way. You probably being a good individual and stuff like that. So when we go, this is the energies that teach us, and for lack of better terms, for people to get in God or to spirituality and things, and if you're part of your lineage to know what the term God actually means.
He said he'd return in the East or something.
And just separating it from it being a social norm, and just the lack of better terms word we can use to convey what we are experiencing. No other
thanks for the music,
no
guys.
other manipulator, other individual can go through these things.
It's a little
like individuals, and when they're a lot of times when we get manipulators, they're manipulating things we're already going through in actual life, and you will have to be focused in a certain area for it to play out in another area of life, filter through a bias or something like that somebody taught you that's what your want is, or that's what your need is. But when we go through these spiritual experiences and things of that nature, there ain't really no such thing as it being taught or someone teaching you what direction that is. These are internal experiences everybody as an individual go through to kind of, now
Uriel
when you
over
get
here
other individuals
probably
create certain
loves
terms
them.
around stuff to help explain certain things, that's when you have to be wise as a spirit to know whatever that you're looking at, listening to, or reading through a person or whatever the case may be, is it filtered through a bias, or is it a person who's going through similar experiences just like you, or is there a grifter or whatever the case may be? And it takes some people faster than others, but everybody end up reaching that conclusion because it's too high on a percentage scale that you are experiencing things that goes beyond social norms.
Being Aquarius is fucking shit, yo.
And
you forget when the fucking
life,
oven's on.
These things that we do be paying attention to is built off that first. So you only start to feel stable in life when you have a lack of comprehension or a lack of way of justifying it and communicating it, or whatever the case may be. And every so often, you got other people who slap words on things. You got other people who do, and then
I don't know how to control it.
You may utilize a lot of those things and get grifted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can kind of control the music
because it's someone pointing to the same direction of what it seemed like you was experiencing, but yet
stuff like that.
The backing behind it, you start to see it can't be that because they're not actually presenting it as how we are experiencing it or whatever. So that's how you can be able to decipher who's between a gripper or whatever.
Siren
because
or whatever.
These things, when you start to look at it,
you know what I mean?
And the real moral aspect, even if you in a religious context making money like a preacher or whatever the case, you know how to separate certain things because you know that you can get into a aspect of sensationalism, right? When you're just doing something and you think the intelligent way of going about it is sensationalizing.
Kind of ranked,
right? Because a lot of business was made off of that. So sensationalizing comes with over-exaggeration and stuff like that. So you over-exaggerate something to get something that we don't have to over-exaggerate about. You did that for money. We ain't got to over-exaggerate about that. You know what I'm saying? Or you did that to be the face of something. We don't got to over-exaggerate about that. But the moment that it becomes the over-exaggeration of something or whatever, then that's when it leads the side of being genuine or whatever the case may be, because that's a person that's extremely trying to push.
Somebody said, why did I choose black people?
A false belief for themselves or whatever, and think other people think that, because you can't never go past the author. Always remember that. So the intelligence is always going to be as far as the author. So whoever the author is,
we'll never know
what they're considering as intelligent, that will be true intelligence when you develop that awareness.
Somebody said, why did I respond?
Fraud intelligence is when you think someone else knew something that you didn't have the ability to know.
Somebody said, who am I talking to?
Having a true understanding of it for yourself, right? You just go off of someone else that may have a bias or whatever.
You know when people die, right?
There's no such thing
they
as
haven't
lying.
finished.
Oh shit! There's no such thing as lying. You can only tell the truth. Now,
but they haven't finished talking.
Lying. That'd be the only thing that you would have to get through or whatever.
Maybe
you, a person being lying.
Maybe people here,
whether it's your family, friend, or associate, coworker. You would have to filter
the other
your
side,
biases and
like
why are you in that circumstance and situation in the first place. Then the truth would come out.
You know what I mean?
So you'll just feel like you're getting taken advantage of and justify the reason why they did that. But other than that,
I mean, somebody's gonna have to explain it, right?
It was really just more word for manipulation. That's a better word for it.
Oh, manipulation, of course. It's just random words in the wind mean nothing, right?
Manipulating spirits.
No, guys, it's not Uriel's fault. He's bringing up
or anti-universal energy or whatever
the case may be.
Right?
Oh, shit.
Something should be already apparent, right? But let's say this, like, let's say
this is bad. I'm bleeding everywhere.
Let's say I got a picture of your somebody you believe in your mind.
A good champs.
And then say I got some money.
How do I die?
Right. Let's say I'm going around and I give you a choice. Now, if you heavy loss in your emotions,
imagine this.
You want this picture or you want this money. Let's say I put a lot of money
in the picture.
You. So you don't know it's money in the picture, but it's more money in the picture than the actual money I gave you or whatever. Let's say you deeply lost into some belief I created.
Zombies lacerate you.
If you take that picture because of what I made you believe, and then the money I manipulated in it,
your vision's
and put more money in
tighter.
it, if I left you thinking
your breath
that
becoming shorter
your
and shorter
belief was the reason that more positive thing happened, then that's a Lord or something out of ego or whatever. Because I have to manipulate you to like.
Yeah, let me check the map.
You know what I'm saying? And then I have to create something I think we all
Just
like.
keep running. Maybe
For you to have it
get
as
lucky.
a social norm. For you to even have it in your own mind without me being around to be like, this is something good to have. Or whatever the case may be. This is like the lowest hanging fruit concepts in reality when it comes into ego. And a person lost in themselves. And coming up with all kind of ways they're considering intelligent to get praised in some way, shape, or form.
Too many.
Where if you're just doing a cartwheel like everybody else could do a cartwheel, but how you did a cartwheel was a little bit more sufficient. That's all you needed. Okay. All you needed was a godly gift and talent. You ain't need no manipulation. You ain't need, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, lucky me. I forgot I had a t-shirt.
So this is the information that Gemini is going to get us when we get into our eternal energies, especially dealing with
I was going to show
Cancer,
my boobs or something.
because Cancer wants us to ask questions about why we are emotionally feeling a certain way. And if we can't get those questions met, then it come out as moods. It come out as erratic emotions. It come out as feelings a person can't deal with. And they was in them feelings for a long time without having a healthy release system. So it's going to start expressing itself unwarrantedly around people, places, and things that they didn't mean to express those energies around. And it take like a lot of experiences of what was wrong, what was right, what was done, for a person to sit back and be like, well, maybe I was in my feelings and emotions. And some learn, some learn faster than others, you know what I'm saying? And the sooner the better. So when you are aware of what's going on and you know how to sit still and be sensitive, a lot of times it's allow you to peak game of the energies without it being filtered through names like astrology or the zodiac terms and stuff like that. You'll be able to see, oh, this is an emanation.
Don't forget to like and subscribe
how we see the
magic in the future,
creating emanations, or just the sun
like to show
and
cool
how
things
it appear
to the world.
as a communion to us each season, each spectrum, or whatever the case may be. So this is another transition. So if you know how to counterpartmentalize characteristics and experiences as transitions, you're able to have one up a little better or whatever, because you'll understand, okay, I'm going through a transition. I can either make this extremely resistant, I can go against a water flow, or I can go where it's most calm at and doggy pedal if I want to, or whatever. And a lot of times y'all be knowing what bias y'all give more importance, which one is on out of the three, and y'all bias be more predicated on going against a wave or you know what I'm saying, in certain aspects where you have to extremely resist something or however the case may be. So that's like sacrificing a lot of areas where you could go through smoothly, but it'll play out in the 1, 2, 3rd dimension as you sacrificing certain morals or something like that, or certain integrities or whatever the case may be, for the sake of what's more of the bias. But the bias, you gotta work hard for it. You know what I'm saying? You might gotta argue for it. You might gotta put yourself sometimes in compromising situations for it. You know what I'm saying? Do things that really ain't you for it, and then convince yourself that it is you. You know what I'm saying? And then make up an intelligence around it. Well, this what these type of people do. So then make an excuse based upon the outcome of it. And hopefully it's a large percentage scale of what a social norm may have taught us what everybody want or need. But if you lack that ability, you just gonna look like a crash out or someone who's doing something based upon a faulty bias, or you're getting paid for a faulty bias that no one cares about. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of internal battles we're gonna have to deal with during this particular time, because Cancer wants us to deal with the emotions. And once it's a new moon in Cancer, you're going to have a new feeling and emotion about what you're actually doing. So anything you heavily invested yourself into, especially if it's like a situation where you didn't put a lot of eggs in a basket or something like that, right? These situations is going to start to make you react and respond to these things. If you're doing things right internally, is you doing things right morally, is you doing your integrity right, is you going to feel right about it after it's done, or however the case. So do you feel right about the things that was already done? Now these is the energies that the new moon in Cancer is going to make everybody focus on. So these be those times, anytime we're experiencing a new moon, if you're an individual with internally, even if you manipulate it externally, your family, friends, associates, and co-workers, and they don't know what's going on yet. They don't know you rocking in the sleep. They don't know that you never planned on paying them back on time, or whatever the case may be, right? These be the times that everybody start to be aware of what they've done wrong. And you got two routes to take. Justify in some type of way in your mind, like, well, the people that I'm thinking about, in reality, they don't know what's going on, so I don't think it's wrong. Or you could start, retracting a little bit, because that's really the universe saying, watch out, I see what you're doing. do you want to go through with this? Because things that happen to you that ain't even got nothing to do with who you doing things to. And you might be in a worse situation. Do you want to go through with it? A lot of people don't see it, that's what they're being told at the moment. A person might be so much in their bias, they're only in the decision-making qualities that's filtered through a high percentage scale of their bias. So once they reach that 2 routes in the esoteric world, people don't know what's going on, because the way you start analyzing body language and with the experiences, and you might got a high percentage scale of being right a little bit, but how long can that go until you become forgetful in certain areas because it get comfortable, and then you want to get fulfilled in other areas, then other areas get exposed where either who probably was blind or sidelined, who you was close to, start to be aware of certain things because you wasn't protecting it esoterically as a force field. That first trickled down as people start feeling funny. Then it trickled down as they start seeing things they wasn't seeing before. Then once it gets to that level, it's too late. Even if you could hurry up and cover up what you was doing physically, something still won't be right. And God to create a situation through that person to make it less on the percentage scale for you to have that ability to do that again. You won't be able to do it the same.
Holy, what the
or
fuck
whatever.
is that?
So you're being blocked. So that's God showing you, I see you. I see you. Everybody don't see it that way. Everybody ain't got a spiritual connection or whatever the case may be. And that's how a lot of people go. You start to develop and bring what we consider extremes into the world. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be nice, huh?
Because the spirit, by nature, always want to see how far it could go. When a spirit is degenerate and unproductive, they direct that. Let's see how far it could go, energies in negative areas, or whatever the case may be. So they want to see how far it could go without that connection with the world of understanding you're being watched also in some way, shape, or form. You think you watching individuals, you being watched. That's for all negative. A thief got to sit and watch. You know what I'm saying? For you to have that ability was here before you. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget to wash your socks, guys.
Thinking you got that ability to codus when it was something that had that ability before you and have moved on because that ability is no longer that useful. Just like you got your sexual organs, and then now you're more into your brain organ and your mind, because what's first shall be last, last shall be first. So you just use your mind to do things that you already know and familiar with. Sexual organs and the heart organ, because the heart was created first and shit like that.
I'm a great entertainer.
Or whatever. So it's just...
Right.
Energies that we try to jump into based upon being unfulfilled, but if we're not checking ourselves, we're going to be still doing the same thing, just on the wrong side of the universe, just for unproductive matters, or trying to justify some form of intelligence off our own faultiness. And then when we do that too far, we have to find other individuals that's in that same damn spiritual space. So eventually they're on the same time creating the same mind awarenesses, cities and states in that esoteric world. Then in the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension, here's how cultures get separated, and now we got small pockets of cults with their own ideologies and things of that nature that's more on a percentage scale of being unproductive. So it's always going to play out higher on a percentage scale of harming oneself or others. So whether it trickle down first as the group harming each other, backstabbing, business shark energy, or it leads into that group harming others based upon the selfish self-entitled bias that they develop and create a spooky god around to justify why that's the mean. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be careful of these things too, because it is really just mental illness, not all these over exaggeration terms we call it, like esoteric, religion, spiritual. No, it's just mental illnesses and people who willing to go extreme for a bias. And the reason they got extreme because it was at an early stage of not being checked from an intellectual perspective or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying?
Move on.
So we have to do these things internally within ourselves first. And this is what Cancer and Gemini Moon is going to teach us.
Hey, have you guys
look at nations like your own thoughts. That's all the men, and the ideas is all the little boys, and all your feelings is all the little girls, and all your emotions is all the women. Look at it like that. So when you find yourself being so cold, you won't even be in the external situations that spirits who can't deal with that inside themselves, they be all bunched together in the external world. You'll find yourself knowing how to get in and get out, because we still got to participate with the world.
Next time,
but you'll be on a
I'll
different
be here
time.
with my wife.
You won't be on the time that everybody else get together and crash out, like how we seen all the New Yorkers did during the basketball game and stuff like that. Which ain't nothing wrong. I mean, I was saying everybody enjoyed it.
A couple decades after that, my son will join us.
I'm just giving context. A lot of accidents happen. It could be stampedes happen, like on the Lion King, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis game. You get caught up under everybody else's Jordan shoes and stuff like that.
Maybe
you just
we'll
was
start
trying to
a
enjoy the game and
fucking
you got caught in the stampede.
one of
and
those
stuff, based
servers.
upon having
You know what I mean?
arthritis in the left
Just like those
toe
one day
so you
one day
couldn't
events
run
type
and get out
thing.
the way and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Could be cool.
Now you Teenage Mutant Ninja
Hey, fuck,
Turtles are wearing
even
a
Uriel
New
and
York City
Gabriel can
sword.
come
You
play
know
for a
what I'm
little.
saying? Days later, somebody got to
Fucking-
find you because you done got stampeded and stuck in the sewer and stuff during the Knicks
Oh
game.
shit. I'll have to use my profiting abilities or something.
So it get crazy out in the world and stuff like that. We got to check ourselves a lot of times and stuff. So when you do these things
Could be
internally,
fun.
it play out externally. And when it play out externally, you'll find it. You'll start kind of compartmentalizing and start
I
keeping that
hear
in
he
check.
has
You'll
a
be like,
laptop
oh, damn.
right now.
Then
but,
those areas you have fear at, you'll
not sure
start
what he does with it.
transmuting and be like, okay, it ain't fear, it ain't
Probably
what I'm
watches
doing,
some naughty
it's
things
how I'm
or
doing
something.
it, or whatever the case. Now you changing your whole
I hear.
perspective of how you're interacting with things.
Naughty things
so even the
like-
things, you'll start having a different outlook because now you're in a different spiritual space. You'll have a different outlook
Like-
at the things
Like
that you once considered you
Roblox
wouldn't do.
hacks for
And
real.
start thinking about it now. And then now you have a broader perspective. Now you'll be able to see even if it's positive or negative how you're seeing other individuals. But let's say they're in a position where they're getting
Alright, what's
a
down
lot
this
of attention. You'll even start
alleyway?
to understand why they're doing things beyond what everybody else may see and just lost in reaction.
I love you
and
guys.
stuff. So you're able to give grace on a broader scale. Cancer wants us to have that because cancers are the representations of how we deal with things emotionally.
Hey, come
and how
into the
we react.
grass.
So cancers themselves, y'all
Don't wanna be
gonna
bleeding all
challenged
over
for
the
how
road.
case. And if you are productive, you're going to be an example of how we all supposed to go
shit.
about something when it comes to our emotional state and how we react to it. And there's a sufficient way of reacting to something, and there's a crash out way of reacting to something. And you have to make sure you're involved in your own life enough to know where is that at. Some of y'all so misguided. So we still gonna be all in the same energies. Yours is gonna be focused and directed in some unproductivity, something that ain't even your business or whatever the case may be. Now you got people who is close to you looking at you a
Alright,
certain
come here,
way
boy.
and thinking in their mind what they could trust you with and not trust you with, based upon
Hey, you guys
wanting
read
to
the
be too
Quran
expressive.
before?
That's why.
Very
It
nice
ain't nothing wrong
book.
with being expressive, but you got to
Very
know what you are expressing. Are you
Very
in the
timely.
present, or are you
Excuse me.
projecting? And now once
I
you
said that
express
with a
that
bit of
projecting,
a-
you're reflecting. And a lot of times, this is how negative people who don't think they're negative because they having good conversations with their family and friends and stuff don't know how they're carrying negative energies. And sometimes when
You
people
know,
put their phones on don't disturb, or
you
airplane
guys know
mode,
him
or,
as
you
like
know,
a mighty
all the
warrior
time,
or whatever.
fully
But
participate
when
with
I was
the
reading the
conversational
book,
energy or whatever the case may be.
I
Because yeah,
didn't even
this may
find
be a
anything
tool
on it.
to
but
laugh, but the
I don't know,
thing
I
that's
guess I
being
just
used
didn't
as a
reach that
tool
part.
is on a negative pretense. It's about something that bad happened to
I just thought that
you or
was
somebody else,
something
or
to bring
a family
up,
friend or
you know?
associate or coworker. So that can be good to pass the time every now and then, but if you're not careful, the cancer energy is gonna rebuke that
shit.
from us. Rebuke that, you know what I'm saying, to let us know
Is that a
that
chicken coop?
this
Oh
is
my
an energy
God.
you're in beyond the structure and forms you're transmuting it through, like actions and words and stuff like that,
All
for
right.
other purposes
Oh.
to please what you lack fulfillment in. And
it's
if you're
time to
not
run.
checking this, you could be
Time to run.
not understanding the way the universal mechanics work is anytime you're just giving more
Okay.
energy to something, that's when you're paying attention to something. You're giving more of your esoteric currency. You're
remove
paying.
this.
And if it's a bunch of energy that you don't care
Oh,
to
fuck, it's
experience yourself,
infected.
then this is how
need,
you start to experience a lot of trial and tribulation
antibiotics.
in your life
Don't I?
because of your thought pattern. So it ain't what you think about, it's how you think about it, and how much percentage scale you're gonna
I
pay
don't even know
attention
which way the
to.
city is, yo.
How much energy is given back to what the other
All right.
area you may lack.
I'll
And
pause
that
right here.
area that you may lack,
Uriel,
that's what you're trying to fulfill.
take the stage.
So you can have that
I'll be
ability
back.
of feeling like you're a part of something, or feeling like you're entertained, or feeling like you can communicate or whatever. And those are supposed to be purely on other basis, or if it's germane or applicable to the situation because we're all just trying to have a good time, we know that that's what we're talking about it for. We know when we leave this conversation, it ain't nothing that's too serious that I'ma hurt my family or friend because we betted over the football game or whatever, or based upon who we voted for or whatever the case may be. No, we know that we're just having witty banter. But once we're done around the kitchen table eating and stuff like that, it wasn't that deep for us to harm each other or create animosity and toxicity within the relationships or whatever. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of times we don't participate, we don't know what we're doing. Then we'll get into an energy, self-reflecting, more on the bias, and then it creates stains within our own situation, our own relationships, and we don't be having no one to blame but ourselves. So we have to understand that too. But the situation may look like we got everybody else to blame. We got society to blame, we got corporations to blame, we got this family, this friend,
You're
and
gonna have to
associate
pay,
to blame. But when you
some
understand
extra
things
money
from the spiritual world,
this
you're able
week
to see you can't blame nobody but your
to
goddamn
Godmother
self.
Marianne for leaving the fucking
And it's
oven
as simple
on
as
for too long.
motherfucker. I mean, it's as simple as couple cup that. You know what I'm saying? When
You
you
get me
understand
from-
things from that attribute, and that's when you know you close to
Have
something,
you
you
ever heard
connected
of
to something,
paying
because
the
you don't
gas
have to
like
be in a
Christ?
situation where you get lost, and that disconnect is what's creating all that bad face card expressions that you may be having at times when you're in the middle in limbo, trying to find those solutions, trying to find those right decision making qualities, trying to understand why you made that mistake or whatever. But when we come into the sun being in Cancer, this is what it's all teaching us. And Cancers, if they're productive, and you have a Cancer in your life, utilize them as a stepping stool or an example to know how to react and respond to things that you will probably crash out, or not even that extreme, things that you want to sweep up under the rug because it ain't stuff you want to deal with. Think about it. If you're a fire or water sign, to us that'd be things like practical things or bills every now and then, or things that we know we should do, but there's a lot of other stuff we feel like we got to do first, energies or whatever the case may be, right? So that's not dealing with our emotions right towards something. Cancers, they go through those extremes, so they deal with that 24/7. But now that the sun is in Cancer, we all have to learn those things. Air and earth signs or whatever. There may be qualities that you pay attention to more than water and fire signs or whatever. But here's the thing: the nonchalantness, right? Your way of going about it, your way of communicating sometimes becomes the problem. So yeah, y'all be saying a whole bunch of the right things and stuff like that. Sometimes we don't want to hear it from you though. Why you say it that way? Why I gotta be like that? Why I feel like you're trying to tug on my way and change my way of thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? So like that goes for Libras, Aquariuses, and Geminis, and goddamn Virgos, Capricorns, and Tauruses. You know what I'm saying? You be around them, you'll start feeling like somebody trying to change the way you think about something that even makes sense.
Your longevity is
shortened no, you
because
think
of
my way of thinking about it. This is the way that's gonna have everything together and stuff like. So you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, y'all got to check that at this time. Y'all got to check and reevaluate how you might be saying something, how you might be going about something. Yeah, Virgo, you're doing something correct. That is going to make us all feel like we're prepared now. We're on schedule, whatever the case may be. But damn, throwing in your 2 cents and worrying every 2 seconds and reminding everybody the stuff we already know. Don't forget, if you're around a water or a fire sign or whatever like that, we might be expressing something that's making you that look like what you created in your mind as a Virgo of someone who forgot, or someone not taking something serious or whatever. I know it might be like that, but you have to understand it's just the elements or whatever the case may be. No, we're just into something else. No, we remember just like you or whatever. And don't forget, being an adult spirit, we know all spirits play resistant energies or whatever. So even if you put a spiritual back against the wall and remind them something they already know, and now they have to think about, damn, they was looking at the way I was expressing myself like I'm dumb and I didn't know whatever, that'll make a spirit challenge to see how far they can go without even doing it. They just start, without even knowing that they doing it, because this is what spirits always like to do, get in different pockets. Once we become aware, we'll be able to keep these things in check and have these things in school. But by default, the spirit will start playing rebellious. And even something that they know to do, they'll start to test the thing that they know you is resistant, or whatever the case may be. The spirits like to resist in some way. Or not conform, especially when it's a form that you could conform in, and we was all supposed to conform in it. But another spirit realized that conformity before you or whatever, and then put you onto it too, like you're dumb without doing it. That you automatically gonna create a concept where within your mind and what you was doing was still right, even when you know you ain't right. And then when you go down that road, you're proving on living your life for others in its natural state. But when you're in your ego or whatever, is your ego is bruised, and you want somebody to know that you can find something that's right for us all too. And that's in its natural spiritual state of it. But a lot of times we shouldn't play those games with each other. And sometimes we just get lost in badges and egos and stuff, so it make it feel like it's justified or whatever. Because one person can feel like, yeah, I showed this person, they're going crazy for not listening or whatever. But see, your way is still negative too. You know what I'm saying? Your way of going about it. It's the how. Many people was in that same situation of that how you did it was through a form of the ego. What made that spirit resist in the first place. And for the most part, it ain't truly your fault, but this is how we're all balancing each other. You have to have true equilibrium. It ain't only what you do to others, is what you allow to be done to you too. And we all have to create, keep creating the potent energy of that balance. And when we don't, in some way, shape, or form, here's where authority or one could think they're more intelligent over other in areas that don't have anything to do with where we should be developing our intelligence. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes falsicity. You know what I'm saying? Where it's a fraud intelligence that's filtered through an ego or whatever. You know what I mean? And you're only using it to put somebody else down. You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, God don't like ugly. At that point, you become an ugly spirit. You see what I'm saying?
because there's going to be an individual or a circumstance that make you feel the same energy that you put out.
Guess I'll
You know what I'm
just
saying?
have
All
to go
these
back in
things
time.
the internal world, this is the
Figure out
world that
what actually
cancer
happened.
control, but they don't understand it from this broad perspective.
Oh,
They
shit.
don't understand what to point to when it comes to reading a room. They only know our social norm filtering concept of that. But if they was to know how broad they is, which all zodiac sign is,
Should I
you know what I'm
record
saying?
It's
But if
kind
they
of
would
my
know how
life.
much control, they understand that they are walking moons. You know what I'm saying? Cancers is like walking moons or whatever. So a lot of times the day is dependent
Hey,
on your mood
come out here.
when it comes into the people you're close to and the
Hey.
situations that you create with other individuals that you are aware of. The whole day be dependent on y'all and stuff like that. But when y'all don't
See me?
understand that, you get into an energy of resentment.
Yo,
Then when you see that energy being played out in other areas and you don't feel comfortable in it, you don't feel nurtured
This
in
way,
it. Then
Charlie.
sometimes
This
if you,
way.
the lower octave cancers,
Thank
you may act out as you're the higher octave cancer, but you don't know that's what's going on. You just get retractive and you become more of a homebody. You know what I'm saying? So you're not creating hard feelings, yet you stand out of people's way and you don't want
Is this
nobody
Marissa
bringing you
too?
too much in their bull crap though or whatever. Because you've been there and done that and was more of a supporter of that person's
Thanks for the
family or
drip,
friend
Marissa.
than they was to their own damn self. And then you have to retract it, be like, I need that energy
You
for
have a
me
nice
now,
home here.
to myself. You know what I'm saying? Now that family, friend, associate don't know what happened, don't know what's wrong, what changed or whatever.
I don't know,
How you
Marissa,
feel
you
about it,
tell
how
me.
you go about the situation changed. The relationship is different. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be the same or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because if you want it to be the same,
oh no.
you're gonna have to show me
Is your,
some different type of qualities. But a lot
is
of
your
times,
girlfriend?
people don't be mind readers,
Girlfriend,
and
boyfriend?
cancers don't be in that energy of communicating that. You know what I'm saying? So they just leave it be. Oh, how
Oh,
but
sorry,
again.
you're-
So they just get
you're a
back into their
protective father,
nostalgia
huh?
energies with what makes them feel comfortable, and you just got to make sure you're not an individual that takes them out of that space. But this is what we all supposed to learn from
Let's
a
go.
spiritual perspective during
Where
this
are
time.
you?
And when the moon
Intruder.
going to Gemini, it's going to give us
How'd
the
you get in
information
here?
to be able to
Must
do
have been
that.
the outbreak.
Situations
Something
don't
in the
happen
wind
where
brought you to
experiences
the-
play out
to here.
through conversation, and that what you develop or experience from that conversation is going to be layered through forms of information. And you're going to get this idea, light bulb on your head, like, oh, I don't got to feel this way about this because of this idea I just got. Oh, I may
wow.
have been reacting and responding to
You have
the
a
wrong way. Oh, this mood I'm
interesting
in before I go
garage.
about this situation, it's the wrong mood. Let me change this mood before I go about the situation.
All right.
I don't know what's
Well-
going on because a lot of times with the Cancer energy, we can make a lot of internal clouds, emotions, right? And start to see visions, but the situation may not even played out in the physical world
How do
yet,
you guys
right?
like the game?
So it might be
I like it.
situations where we see and experience internally, but you developed a cloud from it, a mood, a feeling. Then you created a
This
swimming
is
pool from it, an emotion. So that
nothing in
mood play
the
out before the
games.
physical body language. So your body language is in second nature, acting out the mood or whatever. And a lot of times that mood was in the wrong space. So your actions be in the wrong space. So we could be at a party,
Excuse
and if it's
me.
too much Cancer energy involved, you become the party pooper. We could be all trying to be more business, non-personal, and you the person who don't feel comfortable unless we make it more personal or whatever. So Cancer's got to learn how to counterpartmentalize situations, and this is what all zodiac signs have, especially us cardinal signs. So
Be
the main
upstairs,
people that's
yo.
going to be affected during this particular time, fixed signs can sit back and eat popcorn. If you choose to participate, you might put yourself into a situation where you have to act more cardinal or act more
Whoa.
mutable, which those minor situations is going to lead into uncomfortability because it's not your natural
How
element.
does one get a
So you
fishing
like to
rod?
create comfort zones, things you can put your feet in, things you could count on tomorrow or whatever. So getting placed in too many situations where you got to be what's tomorrow, you got to be what's comfortable. So you got to be the sacrifice of what's uncomfortable for other things to be comfortable. That's cardinal.
Could be a new
or
thing.
you got to be the one to add, change, or adjust, or do something when you ain't quite ready to do it, or whatever, based upon other people's motivations. Or whatever. That's too much mutable energy going on.
Oh
So
my
that's if you
God.
choose to participate with too many other people, that's lost in the energies. But for the most part, cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Aries, Libra, Capricorn, and Cancers,
That's one way to
and
end
mutable
the-
signs,
end the
Virgos,
run, huh?
Geminis, Pisces, and Sagittariuses. We're going to be because I'm an Aries.
Ooh.
We're going to be the main ones that has to put things in check for ourselves when it comes to how we react and respond to
Got that
things.
fanny
And if
pack.
you do have actual cancers in your life, but they're higher octave cancers or productive cancers or whatever the case may be, you could take certain qualities of how they like create things in their life to make them feel comfortable, how they take care of their responsibilities or whatever, and take certain qualities and add it to areas you probably wasn't paying attention to, or things that you already involved in or whatever. And even though it may be minor things that you don't put a lot of effort in, just putting a little bit of effort in and having that little bit of frustration, you will see how it'll add more potency to your
character's
element.
very
So it's
sad.
like you aligning your element with the element we all in, not you just being in your element and just wanting things to be your way. This is how people
Technically,
create
I'm very
frustrations
sad.
in their life and stuff like that, where you're not in sync, and you trying to do the same thing last week
Making this paper hat.
that this week,
Make me
and the
feel a little
stars not
better.
aligning. The moon ain't trying to you, or whatever the case may be. So you trying to look back, do a previous
I
feeling,
look goofy as shit.
and now you turn into Lot's wife, or whatever the case, because you got to understand.
Come on, kids.
Thoughts is men, and many ideas is little boys when it comes into your internal energies. Thoughts and ideas is the masculine side. Then feelings is the little girls, and
I mean,
you
eat
could
this
be
pie
in a
while
Lot's
we
wife.
watch
You as a spirit.
this
You could
TV.
be wearing a Lot's wife emotion, where you keep trying to get emotionally attached to what may have worked and what you got comfortable in as a spirit and lied in. It became a lie, but it became part of your bias, and you want to relax in that and all the external things that you attracted in your life that represent that internal Lot's wife, which that's thou shalt not have no name.
Pie's
Right?
very
It's
hot.
just a feeling. It's just an emotion. And then you get salty when you go back on that emotion and then try to express that same joke again, and we ain't laugh the same. You got salty. You know what I'm saying? So that emotion, that cloth and the clothes you was wearing, you was in that
Carrots are
woman,
very sweet,
and those
actually.
clothes you was wearing was from that city and state that just got burnt down when God sent us children down here to destroy all these cities that turn into Sodom and
should,
Gomorrah. Everybody confused
boil
in their masculine and feminine thoughts. Their thoughts masculine and their emotions women or whatever. So it goes beyond what y'all talking about. We're not talking about that in the spiritual world. Do what you do, whatever your preference is or whatever. We talk about mental things. You could be the straightest person in the
Good
world,
night.
and you're confused
Good
in your
night,
mind because you
magical
keep
wonderland.
manipulating your
Good
family and
night.
your friends between your business or
night.
whatever the case. That's a form of Sodom and
Good
Gomorrah.
night.
And some of these things, we're going through a shift. People like me and other spirits, we're destroying all these things or whatever. These templates and cities and states y'all done built in the esoteric world or whatever the case. So you can't go back to that city. It's in flames. I'm a triple fire. I'm 888 triple fire. You know what I'm saying?
Jacksons.
8 degrees Moon Sagittarius,
Fourth
17 degrees Aries Sun, 17 degrees Leo Ascendant. So you get that. You get your 6 in the morning to 2 p.m.
Maybe.
You get your 2 p.m. in the morning at the 10 p.m.
Yeah, why does it say one?
You know what I'm saying?
But
Then you
there's
go
like
back to 6 a.m. You know what I'm saying? Things, you got some 3 portions. How we used to read it when it was just spring and summer one thing, and fall and winter was one.
Yo,
thing.
YouTube, why you be
And
lying,
going
yo?
on the Vision Quest and the black and the red road.
Oh, okay.
But for the
never
most
mind
part, yeah, burning everything down and stuff like that. So it plays out as a micro transition as we leave from Gemini and going to Cancer. But at the same time, you want to look back at
Wonder
an
how
emotion
Gabriel's
and
doing
clothes
right now.
that you done bought from these cities and states of being that have now going through a shift because it's a form of Sodom and Gomorrah now or whatever, and you just gonna be salty because your same
Guys,
joke or manipulation scale
check this
didn't
out.
work the same way it worked before Sodom and Gomorrah was getting burnt down. You know what I'm saying? So
I rolled
you
a
and
4.
Lot's wife, you got a Lot
Oh
wife
my God,
clothing
this is so
on,
cool.
on some emotion. You know
The
what
way
I'm saying?
they added this, yo.
So this is
They got,
why you might be
the
salty
8-sided
right now. You
dice
salty
to
about something.
reference
Because
Ajuana.
we make internal salt. That's how you make
roll
internal
out-
salt.
let's roll an
That's how all the
Ajuana
salt
dice.
came in. A lot of
6.
salt was created
Oh,
in
yeah.
North America and Ohio.
Let me
first.
roll one.
A lot of
as well.
saltiness was created.
I rolled an 8.
A lot of crying had to been
What-
involved,
what do we
salty
get?
tears and stuff. A lot of sex,
four.
sex
Okay.
was going on.
I
A
rolled
lot of
1.
confusion on who's what and what's this and who should have this and who should have that. It was too
A
much of
1
that
too.
going on.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there was a lot of salt being produced in the
I'm
Ohio,
gonna take this with
Chicago,
me.
Illinois
So cool.
area, by the Appalachian Mountains and stuff like that, Indiana, pieces of West Virginia. You know what I'm saying? West
Guys,
PA,
we have to end
and
the
all
run.
these things. A lot of salt. All the
They do
salt.
full
It was so
moons,
fruitful,
you know what I
though. It was a
mean?
lot-
They
it
do
was
full
fruitful.
moons.
It was really fruitful though.
So
A lot of stuff.
let's take the shotgun.
You get lime, lemons, and wild
And
rice, especially in
Catcher's
Chicago.
the back.
And stuff, you get a lot of wild rice and stuff like that. But for
They
the
do
most
full moon
part,
events.
I'm just
On this
speaking
run.
esoterically
It's a
speaking,
new-
because
this is a
we
new
create the
world.
waters
I mean,
and the
I'm
lands
not a
too.
new world,
We gotta understand these things.
Oh, you got the
We
point,
done got
man.
so far away from
I'm sure you
our
understand.
internal and external actual technologies and stuff like that. We created an internal and an external crutch that we're not seeing is
Oh, hey.
allowing us not to expand or what they want to call
Let's
this
check the chicken coop.
that evolution.
Anybody
evolve
home?
is causing us not to evolve. And once you start to become weaker than animals, in certain aspects. We're going to
It's
start
not.
being aware of new species of animals that always been here. We just wasn't aware of it. And we're going to start to see where we lack at in those type of ways. And then that's like God telling us
Farm
without a
animals
word,
need a livestock
we have to
zone
get
know
back
where
to
they
something.
stay.
And
Where to
it
stay.
ain't always just y'all
Animals in a
terms
zone
get back to
will
nature,
never
or
leave
always
it
y'all
unless
terms.
they're
You know what I'm
stressed,
saying?
hungry, or thirsty.
Let me see it. Make
A
sure
fence
this
is
phone don't
needed
overheat.
only to protect them from predators.
It's just something you have to
If
get
two
back
or
to
more
that you
zones
have
touch,
left from, and
they are
everybody have their
considered
own
as one
particular.
zone.
Then when everybody do that internally for themselves,
Throws
it
and
manifests
touches
as
should be
us being
inside
on the
an
same
arrow
time.
zone,
So we start creating the
so
physical
the animal
situations and
can
meeting up
find them.
physically to start doing that.
Excuse
But
me,
everything
guys.
has to be in the spiritual world first.
Actually
And the only way to the
didn't
spiritual world
finish
is through
high
the
school.
internal. You know what I'm saying? And when you
I
go through
dropped
the
out like 3
internal,
weeks
you're in
in.
your first body, your mind body. So now you're in the first layer
so
of how
happens.
we all connected, not the second layer, the body. So once you understand it from that starting point or whatever,
No,
then
just
you can
couldn't,
start working in your efforts and putting in your
just not a
percentage scale
kid,
the
yo.
right way. Masculine then feminine
Couldn't
first,
find,
not always
motivation.
lost into the physical and then external world. So you lost in the feminine then masculine.
But anywho,
So you have to react first, then take action. When really, we're always taking action first. When you emanate a thought, then it creates the feminine, a container. And that's how we create bodies and things to be in and to feel safe within our spirit, the spiritual world. You got cloths
Okay,
around
guys.
you to make you
Found
not
a
feel
job in the
naked
end
or
of the day.
vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? So you feel like you got no house. You feel like you feel like you have no housing situations. You feel like you're not going to be looked down upon in situations. You feel like you're up for that. You see what I'm saying? It play out
what
like that.
knows?
But when we don't understand that, a lot of times we get
Life is
deluded
still
in
fleeting.
a false sensitivity of what Michael Jordan may have taught us how we're supposed to look at certain situations. Then when we don't match it or have those
I still
external
have like
qualities, like a Jordan
a
shoe or
check
whatever the case may be,
the
now
end
you
of the
don't even
week
want to
or
go to
something.
school and shit like that. Trust me, we
Like
all
the
been
end
through
of
it.
next
Trust me,
week.
we all been through it.
Or the week after. Just planning on visiting a
You
waterfall.
want to go to school then. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to school for it. You know what I'm saying? This school ain't even about that. You going to school to get good grades. You ain't going to school, and the only part of why you want to go or don't want to go is you got Jordans on your feet or not. But this how we was, our pineal
This
glands got
waterfall is gonna
confused and muddied up like waters and stuff
judge
like that.
if you all
Somebody
really deserve
replaced
me
it
or
with
not.
something else. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan.
I'm kidding.
You gotta be careful and stuff
Why
like
would I
that
say
when you're going
something
through
like
these
that?
spiritual times. And the moon going into Gemini, if you're open and sensitive to the universe, you should be receiving all
Oh,
the
look, fall
information.
way.
Sometimes we're
Right
blocked
here.
off because we're lost into the devil, expectation. So
Fall.
information be all around you that you don't expect to come in that form. You don't expect to come through that person, place, or thing. So when these things present themselves, you spit in his faces or you will reject it in some way, shape, or form. And that probably was a way better route than whatever route you'd have formulated in your mind and
Damn,
transmuted it and gave that goal to the
feels so
devil
different
because you was
nowadays.
promised something. So
After
you gave that goal, and now
waking up
you
somewhere.
expect what comes from it and that way of supposed to going about it or whatever. And the devil don't be delivering all the time. I'll tell you that right now. The devil do not be delivering all the time. It make you be like, well, I need another piece of gold. So you got to go create some creativity or take somebody else's creativity somewhere
You
else
guys
and then
know
bring
how to
it back
make
and be like,
another one,
this me
right?
gold, this me gold. And then it'd be like,
gotta follow
it'll
the
give you something that
manuscript of,
might look like it, but now you in the unfulfilled energy. You like, wait, this ain't the jacket I wanted. I wanted the
How to
pelly.
build
I
one of
didn't
me.
want- You know what I'm saying? Then now the first goal wasn't enough. You got to double up. Make gold, make gold, make gold.
Nope.
And then for the most part, then now you just working for the devil the whole time. You never ended up fulfilled. You never ended up getting what you want. And here's the thing. In the physical, you'll get so
What's
blind.
happening?
To other people, it looked like you didn't got 10 times over, which you already thought you was going for or whatever the case. It didn't seem like that to you. You didn't got rocked to sleep
Where's
with
this?
some type of devil game.
How far back are we?
Devil had you playing some different type of chess. You didn't know it was a chess. You never win it. You just was like promoted by like an esoteric Michael Jordan or Walt Disney or something like this is the game to play and you could possibly win. So you can see that through the video
like
game
stuck here,
industry
y'all.
right now and stuff. You got DLC just to go to the next level. Your downloadable content just to go to the next level. Then you can't beat this level without a certain gun. You got to pay your real money to go get the synthetic money. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I suppose the game could not handle it anymore. Shit. Alright.
you got to pay for space.
I'm still keen.
How you come up with how people come up with
Gonna
that?
talk
You got to pay for space.
with
What?
you.
That's some intelligence. You know what I'm saying? All about
So-
the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Take that.
What kind of images should I
But yeah.
show up on screen?
You're going to have a lot of esoteric information that was just always in front of you, but you can get lost into the devil.
This
lost
picture
into
by
those
accident.
expectations. Gemini's going to come there, though, because the moon is going to be in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah. Because let's break it down that area. Once we start getting confused,
but it
leaving from spring and things of that nature, and we at the end of it, or whatever the case, Sodom and Gomorrah,
like
Castor and Polex, Joachim, Boaz,
ravine,
twins,
you know what I mean?
or whatever the case, good cop, bad cop, or whatever. All these is Gemini allegories.
Next
so
image.
when you get into that, understanding it from an esoteric perspective, and as far as your mannerisms and stuff like that, not just, oh, this zodiac sign this, this zodiac sign that. You understand this is pieces of reality of how we're even creating light to condense, to become fluid, to become an organ.
Yeah.
And this time of the year is this specific formation. That includes a lot of other ones. So you can start to add that too when you in the womb for 9 months.
Be nice.
All kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
It's a reason for you to come out and take your first sunlight that condensed and became air. And when you came out that specific time,
Look,
all these things mean something. You know what I'm saying? That means something beyond if it ain't got nothing to do with your pocketbook or your bank account. It ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you get lost for life. Where if you get back into real life, you start to understand, oh, I see how people even created the banking system to even make up a concept of getting rich. Oh, you got to be spiritual a little bit. You got to have something on your mind a little bit, but it's a difference between being productive and being unproductive. So this is why you can't really be putting everybody in no box either. Like if you like a race baiter type of person or whatever the case may be. Nah, like especially if you grow up in the hood.
Pretty cool.
You understand how much America is a melting pot if you live in the hood. So it doesn't even make sense at some point if you're lost into a small world like a fraternity, or you're just a person lost online or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
I've seen a fat cat before.
Everybody got their own spiritual way of going about something, and you just got productive people and you got unproductive people. No matter what we be sizing up from the devil expectation, oh, he's not productive or she's not productive because she doesn't have Jordans on. No, you know what I'm saying? And just replace Jordan with, a lot of things that we create to make ourselves appear to be stable or something like that, a social norm. But
I've seen Gabriel.
I came across many bums and crackheads, and that's another quality. You're able to experience something to know that, oh, there's a dumb concept here, and there's an intelligent concept there. So when you broaden yourself up, there's a such thing as a whole world people could be in the spiritual world that's positive, and there's people within it that might do negative and positive. And then there's a whole world people could be in that's negative, but don't put everybody in a box, because within it, there's certain people that's positive, and they just have to find their way out. So you can have grace or whatever. And therefore, now you're having more equilibrium. Because now you can see, even if there's a whole world of positivity, there's some people in there that use certain positive qualities for their ego. And they're using it for other purposes that's really damaging and stuff like that. Then you have in this pocket over here is a whole world that we know all these people ain't supposed to be smoking crack, or whatever the case may be, but you can leave your car running at the gas station around that crackhead, him or her, instead of that other crackhead. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. That one got a little bit of other, you can see the way they move their left elbow or whatever, you already know what's on their mind. You know what I'm saying? And that, read people's sarcasm too.
It's me, y'all.
Because it really just exposes they got a lot on their mind. You know what I'm saying? So when you are able to separate and have equilibrium, you're able to see, okay, a person has a lot on their mind. And once they expose what they have on their mind, you can just see what type of bullshit individual that they are and know how to deal with them. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, you just like them, if you take extreme offense to their sarcasm, or if you're going through like that witty banter, y'all know how y'all do amongst y'all family, friends, associates, and coworkers when y'all try to get one up on each other. It ain't nothing too deep, too serious, or whatever. But it still got you feeling certain ways, and you still be doing things to them to have them feel certain ways. The small tit for tat, it ain't so extreme that everybody got to cut off relationship. Y'all know what I'm talking about, stuff like that. But a lot of times, you'll know how to deal with an individual if you sit back and don't be in the same space, so you're not accommodating the same energies, because you're not in the same esoteric place, and then you'll actually see what this person doing in the esoteric world. They're collecting a lot of cloths and putting a lot of stuff on their mind when it condensed, and what they're expressing through their brain and their organs in the physical world when you're experiencing them and relating to them and stuff like that. And a lot of times, that's all you have to see to know that, oh, this person ain't, or know how to deal with them or whatever. Then once you kick that can up under the roll, you force that spirit to go to a different city, a different state they can be in, states of being, a different state
I don't remember
that their spirit could be in, to create different gas, liquids, and solids, and those buildings where other spirits that create a lot of cloth that really just be over compensations in a 1 to a third dimension to appear to be something that they lack.
The first time I truly
not
griefed
appear to be something that
in
they lack, but
Minecraft.
that look like they have something
I think.
that they may lack, or whatever
Or at
the
least
case may
in
be.
this
You
way.
know what I'm saying? Because being something that they ain't, that's a different city and state. But this would be a person that probably don't want a situation that probably just as petty as they created, that they know now by that expression, it created possibilities for their people that they're around or coworkers to look
This
down
gave
on
me
them in
good
some way.
vibes, to be
So then they
honest.
start playing that esoteric behind the scenes situation that play out in other
This is
areas
me
that
playing
that kind of will blind people
WoW
or
hardcore.
fulfill what they have lacked in that area they have
times
allowed to be exposed, or allow
I
other
felt,
spirits to take too much and be more in charge of that energy when everyone is
raw,
participating into the
like,
situation, right? And a lot of
like
times
life
these things mean more than the physical
new
representations everybody
in
be
their
involving
world.
each other in. That's why I said, if you don't understand life from that aspect, the spiritual aspect, that's why you don't understand a person could lose money
like
and then get back on. But a heartbreak,
like it
a
drove me
manipulation, a lie,
making
they'd crash out
potions
for it, kill
to
themselves or others for it, and things of that nature. So
increase
showing you that
my
life was more important. So a lot of
longevity
times when we lie to
along
ourselves
those
and think a
lines.
pair of Jordans is more important, here's where we lie. Here's where that may have already started playing out in other areas, and it'll be too late a lot of times. Yeah, we thought we wanted that person, or we thought that person wanted us. Yeah, we thought we wanted that job, or we thought that job needed
Here,
us. Yeah, we thought
it's
we
a
was
nice little picture
that in that person's mind, or
nature I found
you know what I'm
online.
saying? And for the most part, and then life start caving in to reality. Yeah, it wasn't shit but them Jordans. You know, so that's it. You know what I'm saying? The moment you ain't had them Jordans no more, you ain't had them.
kind of looks like a person grew from the tree.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all ever seen Game of Thrones before?
So it get deep in
That's
the
just what I
spiritual
heard.
world. But you know what I'm saying? Gemini's gonna give us the information, whether you're spiritual
Anywho.
or you're in the physical world. It's gonna give you those senses where you know you wasn't doing something right and you still might go down that path. So it's only two paths, and it's gonna look, because Gemini is light. So the reaction energy of the moon is in the air. It ain't gonna be strong.
Y'all want to see
and
Gabriel
things of that
again?
nature till it get into Cancer. So
Of course you do.
you ain't gonna see the reaction to
Here he
force you
is.
to be like, okay, I may need to change this or whatever. So you might just be thinking along with it in your mind, like you're airheaded, like I'm just thinking too much about it. This person don't know nothing. Or I could do the same, even if you're not manipulating someone. You could be in some type of pattern that you know you're supposed to be changing a little
Guys,
bit, whether it's the way you do
just
your
remember,
job or handle something or whatever, but ain't nobody giving you the
Uriel's,
reaction to make that apparent. So you're gonna still
free.
do it knowing internally,
Īsā
you
and
know,
Uriel.
it's, maybe it's time to switch up or whatever the case may be. And if you don't take that route, and you take the route of, oh, nobody knows what's going on, or I can just sweep it up under the rug a little bit more, I can do this or whatever the case. Soon as the new moon go into Cancer, everything gonna be expressed. And then it's gonna be,
Got
you're
it.
gonna be forced into a situation where you have to express, and based upon you
Thought it was
taking that
something
other
new.
role, you're gonna be expressing lacking prepared, lacking information, lacking you should have did something, lacking the emotional energy that was supposed to be placed into another area
Uncle
to
Uriel,
motivate you
guys.
to take actions there. Whether it was resolving something, whether it was taking care of something practical, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was changing
Okay.
your emotional state
Of course.
on how to deal with a situation, and now you're going to be stuck in this only way of reacting that's going to be totally indifferent when everything around you need new ways of reacting,
Hey guys,
or whatever the case may be.
I wonder
And
how I
here
got
you
this.
go, creating the same situation you created last week.
How did I get this,
week.
guys?
Same situation you created last month, this month. Same in a cycle where the people who know you constantly keep going through the same thing, and you talking off their eardrums every now and then. And that's
All right.
you the reason they turn on their phone on airplane mode and don't disturb. So you got to peep game. Don't be that one. Don't be that person that you're the
Do I
one
put some
that
food up
everybody
on the
get
screen
online or talk with
while I
other
eat?
people about spirituality and have conversations about telling somebody some good advice, but the
There we
person
go.
never changing, but they act like they trying to change. Don't be the person that
There's some
everybody
food
talking
up on the
about.
screen.
Don't be the person that everybody be listening and be like, yup, he right, yup, she right about. Because you somebody's family, friend, associate, and coworker just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So don't get out your own, yo do you stink just like everybody else. So you gotta understand that. And when humans start to understand that, everybody good to go. So all these energies is internal. So the moon is gonna take us into Sodom and Gomorrah or whatever. And Cancer is gonna show us how when the new moon go into Cancer, we're preparing to get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. Everybody ain't gonna get out of Sodom and Gomorrah. They're gonna be like, nah, I still like this. I like that. And you're gonna be salty because when the new moon go into Cancer, we're gonna be in a new world. You know what I'm saying? When the new moon go into Cancer, new world, and it's gonna get fixated in that energy once the sun start to transition into Leo. Then we're purely into the summer. But for the most part, right? If you don't change in a way of reacting or change your mood about something, you're stuck in that same mood and you're going to try to express it once the moon go into Cancer or whatever.
I guess that's
then
true,
that's
too.
you still being confused, not reading the room. Because we're going through a shift. Flight boss, beep. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the mind on that Terry Smooth. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel. I gotta do these responsibilities and duties and obligations. Goddamn it, erect this wall, hip, hold that yellow hoop. Massasoit, mama na toy. Ooh, that's a sucky.